Hello, hello, and welcome to the Rock Metal Podcast. I'm your host, John Harris, and today on Rock Metal Podcast we have EB and the Deadlights. They have a new EP called Still See Ghosts, which will be releasing on December 3rd. Right now I'm being joined by Ethan and Andrew to share some more information about this stellar release. So boys, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here.
Yeah. Any Irishmen with lightsabers are always welcome on my show.
Of course we are.
If there's two things in my life that I actually cannot live without, it's Guinness and Irish breakfast tea.
Yeah, we tend to do drinks the best. It doesn't matter what drink it is. It's better over here.
Why is that?
I don't know. I saw a video a while ago. I found out you're Canadian, so it's probably different up there. But I remember seeing a video how Americans make tea and they put it in the microwave. Mm-hmm. And have you ever seen this? It just blew my mind that people would make tea in a microwave.
I've met these people. I've been there when it's happened. I've seen it happen.
Oh God. It's heartbreaking, really heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because why have a kettle? Actually, that's another story, is trying to find... I lived in the States for a while, and the first thing I wanted to do was go buy a kettle so that I could make tea. And that was one of the hardest things to do, was find a kettle. And I don't understand why, but that might lend itself to why people are just zapping tea in the microwave. But like a kettle on the stovetop, I think I could find, but just like one that you plug into the wall so you can just make tea without having to turn on the stove, that was not possible.
That's so weird, because they're everywhere here. You literally you could get a kettle anywhere here.
Yeah. Okay.
Strange. I feel sorry for you more than anything. I just feel sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're in Edmonton, aren't you?
I am in Edmonton. That name should sound familiar, because it comes from Scotland, right?
Yeah, I think so. You're not an Oilers fan, are you?
No, but they are doing well, and I could become an Oilers fan just because they're doing well.
I haven't been following the NHL this year, but I know the Oilers usually do pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. They do, yeah. They've been trying to get back to... So I'm not from Edmonton originally. I'm from Winnipeg. We have the Jets, and the Jets are obviously their own story. Because it went from the Jets, and then they left, and then it was like, what are we going to do? So then the minor league team, the Moose, came up for a while, and then that was fun, and then they left. They went to Atlanta and became the Atlanta Thrashers, and then there was no hockey whatsoever, from what I recall, for a vapid space of time. And then eventually somebody was like, we need a team, and a bunch of people were like, no, we don't, we're just Winnipeg. And then other people are like, that's right, we're Winnipeg, we need a team. Yeah. It's one of the smallest big cities you'll ever go to. It's incredible.
Very nice.
It's like just barely 1 million people. I think it's like 700,000 or 800,000 people. But it's like the most urban city center you'll go to. People are like, yeah, we need everything. So yeah, then they got the Jets, so go Jets. And then I moved to Edmonton, and immediately I recognized a different hockey story here. And that hockey story is, we were great when we had Wayne Gretzky. If only we could go back in time. And it's just a bunch of people stuck in the past. And then they got, what's the name of that guy? McDavid.
Yeah, McDavid's fucking... And his... So watching that video of him just completely destroying the Rangers defense ruins me every time. Yeah. But yeah, that guy's a wizard, like.
Mm-hmm. And he is good, but his whole intention of bringing him on was that we could be great again, like when we had Wayne Gretzky. And I think it's the Finnish guy that's actually carrying them through this time around. Can't remember his name, Altunen or something. But yeah, they're doing good now. They're actually winning. It's weird. It's really weird.
Nice efforts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No empty frames on that one.
No empty frames on that one. Definitely not.
No.
Definitely not.
Yeah. You could say that Oilers fans still see ghosts.
Probably. Yeah.
I love these. I have no idea about anything to do with hockey, but I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Heathen of the Mind, baby. So talk to us about this EP, Still See Ghosts. you guys sounded pretty committed to it because you mentioned, well, the artwork was already made, you know. Well, of course you have to say I do. The caterer has already been paid. Take us through the CP. What were you guys intending to create with it? Still see ghosts. Why are you still seeing ghosts? You should go to the doctor.
I had another band, and it was kind of a deathcore type thing, which is not my... I've nothing against it, but it just isn't... Like, I was brought up on Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie and all those guys. So it was never my thing. So I just sort of thought I would do a side project to piss about, have a bit of a laugh, and, you know, got in touch with Andy about doing a couple of songs, done those. Our old guitar player got in touch with me and said he wanted to write, and just went from there. Just sort of, we wrote one song and then it snowballed. I just sort of was sitting thinking about it, and I was like, everybody has a ghost, you know. If you look in the mirror, something you don't want to be there looking back at you, you're never going to get rid of it though. Even if you do get rid of it in some sense, it's going to be there still. So yeah, it was just sort of nicely morphed into its own thing, and here we are, you know.
Mm-hmm. Here you are on the Rock Metal Podcast.
Loving life.
Yeah, just loving life, baby. Well, that's an interesting thing. So, still seeing ghosts whenever you look in the mirror. Is that like I'm thinking of other references, like skeletons in the closet or having internal demons. Is that similar?
Yeah, I would definitely say so, yeah. Well, like the whole, you know, on the title track, like one of the main lyrics is I still see ghosts in your face in the mirror. So you can take that as however you want to take it, really. Like, it's a very... I feel like you can interpret it to however you want to. But it is definitely still sort of... You know, everybody has their demons. Doesn't matter how big they are, how small they are, but they're there for you. So, you know, kind of cliche artist stuff, really.
What were you guys going for? Cliche artist stuff. That's what we were...
Nutshell, that is it, yeah.
Yeah, just hashtag cliche artist stuff 2021 right here on the Rock and Roll Podcast. And I do want to point out you have a Bowling for Soup poster, and I don't want to make this a show about them, but I mean, bravo, sir.
Yes, I met Bowling for Soup, and they were very nice people.
Did that surprise you?
No, they seem pretty nice. Like, their videos sort of would insinuate it. They're the type of band that if you met and they were dicks, I feel like it would just ruin your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you model anything that you do off of that, or is it too tragic? Because the artwork looks pretty tragic.
No, I think we're too sad. I think we're too...
Just a bunch of depressed fellas trying their best, you know.
That's why we wear makeup. You don't want to see the cracks within our skin.
Wow.
Andy aged... I met Andy, and he aged 10 years overnight.
Mm-hmm.
You should see me with a beard. It's a nice difference.
That man was a child when I met him.
Wow.
And he's become a decrepit old senior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who complains about everything.
Yeah.
It's the sad old man. Yeah, pretty much. That's me summed up.
Mm-hmm. That's why he's got a lightsaber to ward off everything.
Exactly. I take it to practice every week.
Yeah.
Just to keep our bass player away from him.
Okay. We can get into bass player jokes, but of course he's out here for the interview. He's a bass player. Now...
Yeah.
Tom, if you're watching, we're sorry. We do love you.
No, he's not watching. He's a bass player.
Yeah, there's no chance he's watching.
No, he's not. He's probably arguing with at least one of his girlfriends right now.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But babe, seriously, no, it wasn't me. Babe, come back.
Yeah, that's our Tom. That's Tom.
It's gonna happen. They're doing an interview right now with some guy in somewhere.
Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. So we chatted about Guinness. We chatted about the Edmonton Oilers. We've chatted about the EP, Still See Ghosts, the cracks in Ethan's skin, how Andrew aged several years overnight.
Yep.
Looks like we have a couple of music videos. Heathen of the Mind. What in the world is this? What does Heathen of the Mind mean? So
I was writing the lyrics, and was trying to think of a good sort of hook to go with the melody of the guitar riff. And I just Googled words for losing faith in yourself, and heathen was the first thing to come up. And I was going to just call it Heathen, but 21 Pilots probably would have suited me. So I then thought about it and was like, well, Heathen of the Mind sort of flows nicely off the tongue. So we'll go with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By the way, bass player is watching. He's in the chat.
No way, is he?
What's he saying?
Can we see the chat? Oh, what'd he say?
Yeah, you can see the chat whenever you want to.
I don't want to ruin this, so I'm not even going to.
Yeah, Assassin 123954.
Yeah, that'll be him.
Bass player in the chat right now, baby. Yeah, just don't have the audio on because then it'll create a loop and it'll be a delayed loop, so it's even worse than a loop.
Tell you what, I'll just get it up afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't want to risk messing up the whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll just say what he says. Whatever he says, we'll let him away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he says. Important. That's the main thing we're getting at here, but we'll probably look later.
I know. No empty frames with this bass player. Well, that's good. No. If there's anything that I've learned, truthfully, in the years of doing this, is that bands that make it somewhere have hardworking bass players, and bands that don't go anywhere have the typical bass player that we make jokes about.
Well, I have to say about Tom, I'm not just saying this because he's in the chat. He has come on leaps and bounds since he first joined the band, because me and Tom went to school together. That's how we ended up getting him in the band. And I remember when he first brought up that he wanted to play bass to me. I'm not gonna lie, I groomed his ass into playing bass. He was like, yeah, go for it, get this. We were talking about what bass he was gonna get and everything. And he came on leaps and bounds as soon as he joined. It was madness. So he's definitely put the work in 100%.
Very cool. All right. Well, Tom, you're listening in. You're in the chat. Why is that? What was the big thing? I bet it's the dreaded P word, practice.
I'm a methodical person, Tom. Very academic. So I think that probably helped as well. When he puts his mind to something, he's going to ace it. Mm-hmm. So I think that's probably where it stemmed from as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all sort of, everybody is the same in that aspect. We all have a pretty good mindset for that type of stuff, which is good. Alex was the same. Since our first practice, Alex has come on so well. He's not at work. He's currently working in Tesco, so he won't be in the chat, unfortunately. But
Tesco's like Walmart here. It's pretty much that sort of shop.
I've heard of it. I've read news articles occasionally about many different things going on at that fine establishment.
What
He's the one, Carrickfergus. It's just so much better than all the other ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's another big one over there I could be making up. Wegmans? Is that another one? Or am I making that up? Maybe I'm making that up. I'm getting blank stares. And now I'm losing viewers. I'm sorry, everybody. Tesco's. Anyway, Tom says it's all thanks to lockdown. So take us through lockdown and this EP. Would this EP have been different without what's going on in the world?
Good question.
I don't know that it would have,
Yeah, I think we still would have. We're all. I know this sounds like the typical stupid band thing to say, but we are all really best friends, and I do feel like we would have got to doing it eventually. I think as long as I still intended on recording those first two songs I done with Andy, but it would have definitely still snowballed into something because it just felt too good not to, Granted, with lockdown, we definitely had a lot more time to write. I think that definitely gave us more sort of time to sit back and really go over everything and make sure it was how we wanted it to be. But yeah, I think we still would have got pretty much the same product out of it.
Each of us in lockdown as well, it did give us a good opportunity to practice. I didn't have much to do with the writing process of the songs, bar the guitar solos. So from my point of view anyway, lockdown was just a chance to sit with no repercussions in front of the TV all day and just run up and down scales and things like that. So maybe it helped a slight bit. Maybe it helped us get it a wee bit tighter sounding, but I don't think that the overall sound, would have changed without lockdown.
Okay. And you did mention that you spent a little more time writing. Is that just quantity of songs, or did the quality of the songs?
Quality, I think. I think we really spent, like, the lyrics for Empty Frames, I rewrote them 5 or 6 times. Like, we had wrote the bulk of it, we did write pretty quick, which was, as I say, was good, because it was like, okay, here's what we have, how can we make it better? But Frames was hard. Frames was sort of like, we've wrote these ones and we're pretty much done, and we knew we were getting to the finish line, and our goal was 5 songs, because, like, obviously for gigging an opening set, 6 or 7 songs and you're pretty much solid, you're at a good 30-minute mark. So we thought if we have 5 originals, we can, the 2 songs me and Andy done, we'll put them in, put in a cover. There's an 8-song set. And it kind of, so yeah, it was, Frames was so hard. It just sort of I kept going over and over it, and it's so far-fetched as well. It's the only song that I think is, like, not really personal to me in any way, because it's wrote about, like, murder and torture.
Oh.
And all that fun stuff. So
fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a whole dungeon over there just with murder weapons that I'll put to Tom if he says anything illegal in the chat. But yeah, it was, it was just sort of, I knew what direction I wanted to take it, but I couldn't get it onto the page. It sort of exhausted all my other ideas, so it took quite a while to get it going, but thankfully we got there in the end, and it ended up being the lead single, so I think we've done all right.
Yeah. Do you do that to Tom? Is it, Tom, you're going to get the room if you don't behave?
He does, but he kind of
one of the two, like, you know what I mean?
He kind of enjoys both of them. He acts like he doesn't, but he kind of does. So it's all good.
Yeah,
sort of a win-win, isn't it?
A little bit. Tom, do you get the lightsaber at all? Tom, if you're listening,
he's quite good with nunchucks. Very good with nunchucks, he is.
Oh,
I don't know how or why, but I just got a bit of him in a second one day, sitting giving it all this, samurai stuff.
Tom is extremely dedicated to practice, yes, but 2 weeks ago at practice, he just turned up with a set of nunchucks with no context whatsoever. And no one knew why he had them, but he just turned up with them, and
it would be different if he couldn't use them. If he couldn't use them, that would have been normal, but he could. That was the weird part about it.
He gets lashed in the groin with a belt.
Occasionally. This is really bad. People are going to think we're actually, like, bullying this boy. All good fun.
Yeah, we should maybe go back to talking about the Oilers or something.
I think the Oilers are a hockey team, are they?
They're a hockey team from the fair city of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and I don't know. They decided to listen to their coach this season, and they're winning.
They're making a rebound, yeah. Very good.
Yeah. Do you guys get that at all? Like with sports teams, where you're just like, what did you guys do? Decide to show up today? Like, what's going on?
I'm not personally too big into sports, but I did notice it a while ago. It was a couple of years ago with Leicester in the Premier League. All of a sudden, they just shut up and won, and nobody really knew why. At least people like me didn't, because I just always assumed that Leicester was not a very good club, and then all of a sudden they won the thing, and that put them on the map. In terms of local sport, I'm sure it happens. It does happen in, like, local clubs and things like that, and some sports you'd have here, like Gaelic and hurling and things. I remember a while ago, my local, I can't remember if it was in Gaelic or hurling, but they went very, very far in the All-Ireland tournament, and that was unexpected. That was St. Denda's GAA club. So it does happen, it does happen.
Okay.
I play ice hockey. I did play ice hockey for like 7 years, and we were like, there was only one league we could play in here. It was like a competitive league, so we would have to go to Scotland every other week, and we did not have enough players to be going, so we would be playing these teams that were like running 5 lines, and we would have like 10 guys, and we would just and for anybody that doesn't know hockey slang, 5 lines is 15 to 20 guys. So they were running a lot more players than we were, and we were just getting annihilated every game. It was not fun.
Yeah, that's when you switched over. That's when you switched over to lightsabers, and
it would have saved me a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
It would have.
Yeah. Now, is there a label that's released this EP? Still See Ghosts? Gary with 2 R's didn't clue me into that.
We are really independent.
Mm-hmm.
Really independent.
Okay. Do you want me to get you in touch with a label that I think would be a good fit?
Oh yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. Does Tom agree with that?
I know who cares what Tom thinks. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. What does Tom think? The assassin with nunchucks.
Whatever he thinks, do the opposite. Okay, I don't care if that shoots us in the foot.
Well, that brings up an interesting thing because I do martial arts, and so I am familiar with the nunchucks. So I was just immediately curious, like, oh, sweet, what style of martial art does he do? He's just showing up like a hooligan with nunchucks. Is that it?
Well, no. He used to do them when he was younger, I think. I just don't remember which martial art.
They don't use nunchucks in jujutsu, Tom.
Ooh.
Oh, he
just got caught out, hasn't he?
Jiu-jitsu's grappling. They don't have weapons in grappling.
Maybe he just showed up in the nunchucks anyway.
Yeah. Japanese jiu-jitsu or Brazilian jiu-jitsu? I used to do Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
God, I used to do judo, like way back in the day, but judo is a bit, from what I say, I think it's a bit tame compared to the other ones.
Yeah. Another form of grappling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right.
That's
Japanese jiu-jitsu, and they use nunchucks in his dojo. That's interesting. That's like super interesting. I'm looking this up, Tom.
It sounds scary. Imagine getting down to practice jiu-jitsu and then fellas are just pulling out nunchucks left, right, and center.
I just want to look up on the Googs jiu-jitsu. Of course, Brazilian jiu-jitsu comes up. No, there is a Japanese style. Okay, that's interesting. Japanese jiu-jitsu, it's going to direct me over to judo. How accurate is this, Tom? Wikipedia is sending me over. Okay, you could have minor weapons. That's interesting.
Are nunchucks really a minor weapon, though? Like,
yeah.
It's all well and good calling it a minor weapon until it's getting smashed across your head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really good question. How would you define a minor weapon? Like, I guess a 6-foot staff is not a minor weapon.
Yeah. But you can still do some damage with one, though. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, with nunchucks, well, most people do damage to themselves with nunchucks, but
yeah.
You totally could. Yeah. Okay. So you could use a knife or a hidden weapon or a weighted chain. Okay, so nunchucks are kind of getting into a weighted chain.
Yeah.
Brass knuckles. Yeah, I could totally see that.
I feel like any of these are going to hurt, though. Minor weapon or not minor weapon.
Yeah. Okay. Does that sound right, Tom? Do you guys use knives and weighted chains and what they're calling knuckle dusters, which I'm going to imagine is like a brass knuckle or something?
Yeah. It's brass knuckles.
Yeah. Is that what happens, Tom? Talk to me, Tom.
That's scary.
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay though because of the stream. So they're hearing the stream at least 5 seconds after I've said it.
Yeah.
Cool. So we've chatted about the Oilers, Guinness, because I live on Guinness. It is my. I go into pubs and they're like, "What kind of beer do you want?" And I'm like, "Do you have Guinness?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Do you have anything like Guinness?" Which is kind of a trick question.
Have you ever had Guinness like in Ireland though? Have you ever been to have it here?
No. It's
if you really like Guinness, you have to do it. You have to do it because generally what happens is the farther away you get from Dublin, the worse the Guinness tastes.
Really?
As a general rule, it's not obviously every rule has exceptions, but if you get a Guinness straight from the factory in Dublin, it tastes far nicer than it will at pretty much anywhere else.
Wow!
But there are good spots up in Belfast, up north where we live, that do very nice Guinness.
Mm-hmm.
That was far. It was a good one.
That might ruin it for me, but I'll do my best. And then bass player jokes, but thankfully the bass player showed up in the middle of one of our bass player jokes to crash the stream.
The bass player showed up, full stop. Like, what more needs to be said?
Exactly, right?
It's sort of overstepping the mark here, I think.
Yeah.
He is.
What else we chat about? Lightsabers. My kids are running around upstairs. I don't know what's going on, but I heard noise and then thumping.
As long as you don't hear tapes, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Maybe they have a lightsaber. We chatted about Empty Frames, the track, Heathen of the Mind, the track, and those also have videos available on YouTube. And I saw their lyric videos, correct?
One is a lyric video, and Empty Frames is a video.
Take us through the video.
We were very broke after having just paid for studio time. We also, the guy we recorded with, Josh, had just started like a kind of productions company, I think, DR Productions. Said to us if we could get a free location, he would do it for a better price. I live in like really rural countryside place, so it's all like abandoned farms and shit like that. So perfect for a gothic metal band to do a video, you know.
It sounds like Ohio.
Yeah, it's not far, probably not far off. Yeah, so we just rolled up there, and it's only like a 3-minute walk from my house. So we came here, got ready, went over, played through the song, and we didn't have, like, I had so many ideas for videos for this, but just this like entire EP in general. But if I did, we would have had to take out like a bank loan. Like we would not have been able to afford anything I wanted to do. But yeah, I think for the price we paid, I think we got a quality product. Like, it's, you know, I'm very happy with it. I think Josh did a great job. Alan, who done the lights, hello, if you're out there, what's up, people? And yeah, they're probably not watching.
Okay.
Josh,
I was enough on the bust out the smoke machine, if I'm being honest. I wasn't even expecting that.
The smoke machine that we remember it was like it wasn't a fantastic one, and Alan was like, yeah, if you ever want a smoke machine, don't buy one of these, because you have to reset them every so many minutes, and like we had to tape it down. It was funny.
Okay.
Good crack.
Sorry? What? Who?
Huh?
Huh?
You're gonna have to translate.
Oh yeah, good crack.
Good crack?
Banter, fun.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's spelled CRAIC, because in the Irish language, that's how you say fun. So over here, people say, "Oh, it's good crack," or "You are good crack."
Okay, just be careful when you take that over to North America, because I
was speaking about this to him beforehand. I was like, right, we are going to need to explain what the crack is, because we're going to say it all the time.
Because you're like, that's some good crack. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's. I always love seeing the face on people's faces when they don't know what it means, and they think it's that type of crack.
Yeah, so it's an Irish Gaelic. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
That's
its origins, like, but everyone just sort of says it here. But as a direct translation, it just means fun in Irish. But you could ask someone, you know, what's the crack, and that basically is just what's up, or how are you, how you doing, or if someone's good crack, they're good fun, you like to be around them.
I love good crack. I love good crack as much as the next guy.
Now you really have to be careful saying this, because you're living in the thick of it.
I think that's the problem, boys. But
that you like good crack?
I like good crack.
Yeah, that'll kill you.
Yeah. It will. Okay, sweet. We did chat about the EP, Still See Ghosts. We chatted about the tracks Heathen of the Mind and Empty Frames. A lyric video and music video available on YouTube for Heathen of the Mind and Empty Frames. And then there's also the website to reach you boys at. I have that it's facebook.com/Heathen EB and the Deadlights Band. Is that the best place to reach you boys?
Yeah, either that or Instagram. Instagram is the same, just at EB and the Deadlights Band. We were going to get a website, but we just never really got around to it. Money as well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really good website, you need stuff to put onto a website. We did not have stuff to put onto a website. We have a gig.
Doesn't know how to make a website.
Yeah. We have a gig in 2 weeks, and we have just got our first batch of merch for it. We've just got t-shirts for it, so we are currently financially ruined yet again.
Mm-hmm.
We always pull through.
The life of being in a band.
Yeah. Groovy.
You love to see it. You really do.
It's all good crap.
1 second. My next call is saying, I don't have a meeting ID for this meeting, which is Zoom thinking.
Yeah, that's Zoom, isn't it?
Yeah, Zoom has meeting IDs, and I'd rather sneeze into a dirty sock than use Zoom, but that's me personally.
When Gareth got me and was like, "This is on Skype," I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah.
Not again.
In terms of like recording calls and doing the stream and everything, like Zoom is a nightmare, and the quality is horrible. As far as like getting a meeting off the ground running at work, sure, I get it. It's a little bit easier to use, but finishing up the call.
To be fair, since the last time I used Skype, it's definitely improved a lot. Like, a lot.
I believe it.
I just don't like using social media.
Me neither.
No.
Which is terrible. I run our social media, but
yeah, it's literally what we have to spend like 90% of our time to promote anything we do.
Yeah. Oh no, Tom says cracks 90. Yo!
That's another way to say it. You can say the crack is 90.
I don't understand what's going on. But okay, so we chatted about the EP Still See Ghosts out on December 3rd. We chatted about Heathen of the Mind, Empty Frames, lyric video, music video available. Look up EB and the Deadlights Band on the Googles and you'll find them. And then what else did we chat about? Edmonton Oilers, Guinness, bass player jokes, although he showed up. So thank you. And then we also talked about nunchaku jujutsu, which is jujutsu that uses nunchucks.
Who would have thought it?
It doesn't feel right. It does not feel right.
Yeah, who would have thought? So, boys, that concludes my questions. Thank you so much for coming on to the Rock and Roll Podcast today.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you for having us.